For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to seek governance reforms as part of a plan to rally the region behind a post-war vision for Gaza, which includes concrete steps towards a Palestinian state. After meeting with Arab nation leaders and Israeli leaders Tuesday, Blinken spoke at a press briefing and said he's secured commitments from Arab nations to assist with rebuilding and governing Gaza after the war against Hamas, but only if there's a pathway to a Palestinian state. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his far-right government oppose Palestinian statehood.
Israel must be a partner to Palestinian leaders who are willing to lead their people in living side by side in peace with Israel and as neighbors. And Israel must stop taking steps that undercut Palestinians' ability to govern themselves effectively. Extremist settler violence carried out with impunity, settlement expansion, demolitions, evictions, all make it harder, not easier, for Israel to achieve lasting peace and security.
Blinken said a United Nations assessment team will be traveling to northern Gaza to assess when Palestinians can begin returning to the war-torn area. He also blasted South Africa's claim Israel's committing genocide against the Palestinians, a claim filed at the International Court of Justice. Blinken called it meritless. Arguments in that case begin tomorrow, Thursday. Israel's war in Gaza, now in its fourth month, has killed more than 23,000 Palestinians. Some 9,000 are children. In the U.S., San Francisco became the largest city in the nation to pass a resolution demanding a ceasefire. Supervisor Dean Preston, a Jewish socialist, sponsored the resolution, which passed with supermajority support 8-3. Eileen Alfandary reports.
The resolution urges a full investigation and accountability for war crimes and human rights violations committed by both sides, including gender-based violence and the killing of children. It calls for new leadership for both the Palestinians and Israelis and a lasting peace. And it condemns anti-Semitic, anti-Palestinian, Islamophobic, and xenophobic rhetoric and attacks. Supervisor Hillary Ronan co-sponsored the ceasefire resolution with Dean Preston.
If enough of us speak out, President Biden will have to listen. And there is no doubt in my mind that without the weapons, money, and backing of the United States, the far-right government in Israel will not be able to continue its ethnic cleansing campaign against the Palestinian people.
San Francisco is the largest city thus far to call for a ceasefire in Israel's war on Gaza. Detroit, Seattle, and Atlanta are among the at least a dozen cities around the country that have done the same, adding to the pressure on President Biden in this election year. I'm Eileen Alfandary.
Yemen's Houthi rebels have fired their largest ever barrage of drone and missile strikes, targeting shipping in the Red Sea and a U.S. naval vessel there. FSN's John Beaver reports.
18 explosive attack drones and 3 anti-ship missiles were launched in what the US military described as a complex attack. They were successfully shot down by warships in the Red Sea, with further support provided by US fighter jets launched from a nearby aircraft carrier. Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen have been attacking shipping in what they say is a bid to try and stop the Israeli offensive in the Gaza Strip. The UK Defence Secretary claimed it was the largest attack to date and vowed to continue taking action to protect innocent lives and the global economy. In the UK, I'm John Beaver.
The attack comes as the United Nations Security Council is slated to vote on a resolution condemning the Houthi attacks. In the U.S., Republican presidential candidate and former President Donald Trump made an appearance at a federal court hearing Tuesday whether he's immune from prosecution for election interference for allegedly trying to overturn his 2020 election loss. The hearing took place before a 3-judge panel of the Circuit Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. Trump blasted the proceedings that he called election interference. Christopher Martinez reports.
Lawyer John Sauer argued on Trump's behalf before a 3-judge panel.
To authorize the prosecution of a president for his official acts would open a Pandora's box from which this nation may never recover. Could George W. Bush be prosecuted for obstruction of an official proceeding for allegedly giving false information to Congress to induce the nation to go to war in Iraq under false pretenses? Could President Obama be potentially charged with murder for allegedly authorizing drone strikes targeting U.S. citizens located abroad?
Trump's lawyers are arguing that Trump cannot be prosecuted unless he's first impeached and convicted. Judge Florence Pan seemed unconvinced by the argument.
You're saying a president could sell pardons, could sell military secrets, could order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival.
The plaintiff's side was argued by Assistant Special Counsel James Pierce.
Never in our nation's history until this case has a president claimed that immunity from criminal prosecution extends beyond his time in office. The president has a unique constitutional role, but he is not above the law.
The case is now in the hands of the appeals court, but however that goes, an appeal to the Supreme Court seems likely. I'm Christopher Martinez.
I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.